Good afternoon. My name is Amani, and I'd like to introduce myself and my books. I'm coming to you live today from Monkey House Cafe in Huntington Beach, California, located at 18862 Beach Boulevard, Suite 101. I'm going to be having a book signing here on June 26th from 1 to 4, and I wanted to introduce my books. The first one I want to talk about today is The X Factor. The X Factor took me about 6 years to complete, and the motivation behind it was the fact that my parents were in Vietnam. My father actually met my mother there. And so from hearing stories from them when I was an adolescent and growing up and listening to the same music that they would play, Marvin Gaye and the Stones and various others, kind of created within me a fire and a desire to tell a story of Vietnam. A unique story though, not stories that I'd heard from them. So the fictional book, The X Factor, comes from deep within those roots, and it focuses on a central character, Xavier Knight. Xavier Knight, along with Johnny Grimm and Freddie Withers, become drug couriers and run heroin throughout the tunnels that are spread throughout Vietnam. That's the first part of the book. It kind of lets you in the world of childhood warriors and exploitation. From there, it jumps 11 years into the future, where Xavier Knight becomes a Navy SEAL. So at that point, I talk about terrorism in the book, how Xavier has to deal with his issues as a child and assassination, and who he is becoming as a man. The X Factor has right now been released. It's available through Amazon.com, Barnes & Nobles, as well as authorhouse.com. And basically it was like giving birth. This is my first book, and I was very proud of that. It's called The X Factor. It's available now. I'd like to also introduce a second book that came out. It's called A Nomad's Journey, Lessons Learned from an Eclectic Soul. And what I'm trying to do with the Nomad's journey is I basically spent 3 years in prison as a workshop facilitator. It's basically a role I used as a teaching and counseling position. And what I did for those 3 years is I'd take adult male inmates from Donovan State Prison and run them through a 3-week workshop. The 3-week workshop was an employability workshop that was designed twofold. One was rehabilitation in terms of cognitive behavior development and reentry skills. So basically not just getting a job, but keeping a job. While there, I realized my niche was really writing. I didn't like working for someone else. That sad truth is, you had to. So while I was working for someone else, I was writing down the stories and little funny anecdotes that they would tell me. So one of the chapters in here is called Doing Time. It's one of my favorite chapters. And it draws on my experience of 3 years doing 36 workshops in that time. What the Nomad's Journey offers for the general public, it's about finding your passion. Famous Brazilian author Paulo said, your personal legend. He talks about finding your passion, your niche in life. And for me, it's helping at-risk populations and doing so through writing. So with the Nomad's Journey, I brought these stories together and other stories from my life. And the final book today I'd like to introduce and very proud of came from motivation from my 2 sons and my wife, and it's called The Guardians. I'm really excited about all 3 books, but in particular The Guardians. The Guardians really hones in on my true passion, and that is dealing with children. I've been a teacher, a counselor, a cop, facilitator. I've trained people in self-defense, martial arts, but it always goes back to the kid factor. And what I did with the Guardians is I developed 5 animal characters who all have character flaws, and they come together as natural predators, and instead of eating each other or hurting each other, they decide to be friends. So they go off and embark on a journey. So through this journey, they are being secretly recruited for a society called the Guardians, which is kind of like the Masons. But long story short, what essentially happens is not only do they become friends, but they realize that they have to get over their personal issues to help others. And so in so doing, they do get over their personal issues, and they do help the world at large. Central themes in the Guardians are the environment, core values such as veracity, courage, wisdom, and compassion are talked about, and basically just tolerance, things that our children are lacking today, I believe. And so there's a very interesting twist at the end. I don't want to give it away, but please purchase The Guardians. It's also available at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and authorhouse.com. And again, all 3 of these books will be available, and I'll be signing them here, along with the the artist. Amy Lard did all 3 covers for me. She'll be joining me on Saturday. So that's Saturday, June 26th, between 1 and 4, here at Monkey House Cafe. Again, the address is 18862 Beach Boulevard, Suite 101, in Surf City, USA, Huntington Beach, California. Take care.